Saturday at 8 on WOUB.
Coming up on Newswatch, more people are taking part in early voting in Ohio compared to previous elections.
Plus, Russia continues its assault on Ukraine, creating rolling blackouts across the country.
And in sports, a heated matchup is going down between two Perry County rival football teams. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Andre Knowles.
And I'm Lexi Lepoff. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. With over 2 weeks until Election Day, Ohioans are utilizing early voting options in strong numbers.
That's right. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose says requests for early or absentee ballots are now over 900,000. This is a 2.7% increase in comparison to the same point in the 2018 governor statewide election. LaRose says that although this is not a significant increase, it shows Ohioans are, quote, confident in Ohio's abundant early voting opportunities. Ohio's early voting period is 21% longer than the national average. Polls in the race for Ohio governor shows a double-digit gap between incumbent Republican Mike DeWine and Democratic challenger Nan Whaley. The election is still over 2 weeks away, so experts aren't ready to call that contest or the even closer U.S. Senate contest, but they admit one race may have an effect on the other. Ticket splitting, which is when voter chooses a candidate regardless of the party, happens less than in the past. But 4 years ago, DeWine won the governor's race and Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown was re-elected. So ticket splitting has happened fairly recently in our state and could happen again.
An Ohio bipartisan bill would end the mandate for a student to be held back if they don't pass their third grade reading test. Some educational researchers say that's a step in the wrong direction. Chad Aldis with the Thomas B. Fordham Institute, a school research and analysis group in Columbus, is against the bill. Aldis says there's been an increase in the number of students who pass the reading test every year since 2016. According to Aldis, improvements mean most for struggling readers, saying, quote, "We can't turn away at a time when our students need the most assistance, and there are signs we've made progress," end quote. Supporters of the bill say policies punishing students for failing to achieve academically leads to higher dropout rates in high school. The Ohio Supreme Court says Cedar Point did not violate their terms that season pass holders agreed to when the park had to shut down due to COVID. The court voted unanimously in support of Cedar Fair, the owner of Cedar Point and Kings Island in Mason. Justice Sharon Kennedy said the season pass holder Laura Valentine, who filed a class action lawsuit, did not have a valid claim of breach of contract or unjust enrichment against Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair attorney David Hudson told justices that season pass holders agree the park's dates and hours of operation can change without notice and there are no refunds. The court's ruling means that pass holders cannot sue for refunds over the 2 months the park was closed.
Hello everyone, I'm Curtis Fader with a first look at your weather. Now first, let's take a look. 68 degrees. That is super nice compared to what we've been seeing this past week, along with some 8-mile-an-hour winds, so don't get a little too hasty. Make sure to keep that windbreaker on. They do name those jackets for a good reason. Now, we're taking a look right now, 66 degrees over there in Lancaster, 68 in Athens, 64 in Zanesville. Right now, that's what you're seeing. We're seeing the upper 60s right now, which is pretty incredible considering we're in autumn right now. This is not what we should be seeing, but taking a look, you can see to the top right of your corner here, we're seeing the early hours of today, and then we're going to see those temperatures whoosh right in to what we are seeing now with these warm temperatures. A very vast contrast of what we've been seeing previously. But then, take a look at tonight. We're going to go right back down to some chilly temps, but 40 is the overnight low. We still have some time for sunset because it is setting in less than 10 minutes from now. But overall, it's going to be a pretty pleasant night until that overnight low. But for now, I'm going to pass it back over to Andre and Lexi.
Thanks, Curtis. New recommendations from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention will not change Ohio's school vaccine requirement. Today, Ohio Department of Health Director Bruce Vanderhoff provided more information on this in a statement, saying that the CDC Advisory Committee recommending the vaccine to be added to the schedule of vaccines for children doesn't mean the vaccine is mandated for children. Vanderhoff's statement also says Ohio does not mandate COVID-19 vaccines for students and that requiring vaccines could only happen through legislation. At this hour, pediatric beds and intensive care units are now about 80% full.
A surge in respiratory illnesses amongst children is putting a strain on pediatric hospitals. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Dwindling children's hospital beds, intensive care units being pushed to capacity, overwhelmed healthcare workers, all triggered by a surge in a common respiratory virus, also known as RSV, spreading at unprecedented levels amongst children.
Our beds are filled to capacity. The kids keep coming in. I have never seen this level of surge, specifically of RSV, coming into our hospital.
Federal data shows pediatric hospital beds are filling up more now than they have over the past 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Over the last 10 days, we've had over 100 kids that have come in with RSV into our system, which is really unprecedented.
Some doctors say children being more isolated to protect them from COVID may have fueled the rise in RSV cases.
I think their immune system just hasn't seen the number of viruses a typical child prior to the pandemic would have seen.
Kids were socially distanced. They were wearing masks for a long time, properly so. We needed to do that to prevent COVID infections. But now these viruses are capturing a population that is completely not used to them.
Despite the surge, doctors say they don't want parents to be too alarmed.
RSV is not as serious as COVID was in the adult population. We can take care of these kids. We can actually provide the care. The majority of them will get better, will go home.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Common symptoms of RSV include headaches, runny nose, coughing, and sneezing. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, please visit your primary health care provider.
And the January 6th committee has officially sent a subpoena to former President Donald Trump. And Ukrainian officials fear Russia's escalating attacks will lead to a new wave of refugees. These stories and more when we return.
For some teams, it's win and you're in. And for others, conference titles are on the line. This Friday, the Wheelersburg Pirates travel to Portsmouth West to battle the Senators for the SOC2 crown. The new Lexington Panthers head to Sheridan to test the Generals in a heated NBL cross-conference rivalry. The St. Clairsville Red Devils and the Cambridge Bobcats will face off for the Buckeye 8 title game. So join us on Friday night at 11:30 p.m. on WOUB. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
On Secrets of the Dead, the collapse of the Roman Empire. Was it caused by a changing climate?
It gets colder and colder and less appealing in terms of crop growth.
Or a series of virulent pandemics?
The extensive pestilence was something never seen before.
The end of the Romans on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
TikTok is an app that's completely different than any other type of social media platform that we've ever seen before.
The algorithms are reinforcing social disparities.
I thought I had the freedom of speech. They just find a way to make it so nobody sees any of your content. This is blatant shadow banning.
This is bigger than TikTok. It's about who in our society gets heard.
TikTok Boom, Monday, October 24th at 10 on Independent Lens.
Next time on The War, a forgotten island called Peleliu.
The world was a nightmare of flashes, violent explosions, snapping bullets.
And a pointless battle comes at a terrible price.
We just went crazy. We were mad at everybody and were ready to kill anything that there was.
Part 5 of The War.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol has officially sent a subpoena to former President Donald Trump.
The committee made the announcement Friday. The group wants Trump to sit for a deposition under oath and to provide documents by next month. The committee is looking at evidence that Trump was at the center of the plot to overturn the 2020 presidential election. It's unclear if Trump will comply with the subpoena. The Select Committee was formed after thousands of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol in January 2021 in an effort to interfere with the lawmakers' certification of electoral votes. Trump's subpoena is not the only one being discussed this evening. Steve Bannon, the ex-advisor to former President Trump, has been sentenced to 4 months in prison for not following his subpoena. A Trump-appointed judge issued the sentence to Bannon for criminal contempt of Congress Friday. If you remember, he defied a subpoena from the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack. But Bannon will not have to serve his sentence until after his appeals process concludes. The judge also ordered him to pay $6,500 in fines. Russian attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure are continuing, and officials fear the attack will lead to a new wave of refugees.
Gloria Pazmino has the latest on the Russian conflict.
A new wave of attacks aimed at creating a new wave of refugees. That's what Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says is behind Russia's latest offensive, which is targeting Ukraine's energy system. Zelensky says missile attacks have destroyed more than a third of Ukraine's energy infrastructure. With winter fast approaching, officials in Ukraine say the attacks are designed to create problems with electricity and heating in the region.
As of right now, more than 1,000 Ukrainian cities and villages experiencing electricity, either outages or just like complete blackouts.
During a two-day EU summit this week, leaders discussed plans to provide Ukraine with 1.5 billion euros per month to help with basic needs like energy, food, and water. And while Putin escalates his attacks, a rare sighting. Russian state media showing the Russian president and his defense minister inspecting military personnel and a training facility. But despite the photo op, Ukrainian officials say they are winning the war and will fight until the end.
Our people during last 8 months shown that they are ready to wait, they are support army, and they're ready to suffer. So we understand what we are fighting for. We are fighting for our country.
I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
A new group of Athens County residents is helping refugees find homes and solace in Southeast Ohio. Newswatch reporter Emma Dollemeyer has more on this organization.
Tatiana Mithawina, a Ukrainian refugee, can safely spend time with her 2 children here in America thanks to the Athens County Sponsor Circle. Created in March, by July it was helping other refugees like Tatiana settle into life in Athens, Ohio.
There's not a refugee agency usually in small towns, and so we kept wondering, why aren't we bringing folks here? There's places for them to live, things for them to do. It's a welcoming community, and the response has been incredible.
It is all part of a new U.S. State Department program. The program allows everyday citizens to help with the growing refugee crisis in Afghanistan and Ukraine.
There's a statue out there in New York that says, give us, you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor. Those folks are yearning to be free, and that's what this country is. And I thought it was maybe in some small way, a little group of citizens could get together and live up to that dream.
The group is comprised of 6 volunteers who, in addition to providing transportation, housing, paying for utilities, groceries, and clothing, help the refugees feel at home.
Tatiana's family came to our home to eat with us and play games, and Caitlin and John and our other son and his fiance were just there to have fun.
ACSC, above all, wants Athens to be a safe haven for those waiting until it's safe to return home.
I want to go to home in Ukraine.
The group is hoping it will continue to grow so other ordinary citizens can help refugees like Tatiana find refuge in Athens. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Emma Dollemeyer.
Tatiana and her family are a part of the U.S. State Department's Uniting for Ukraine program. The 3 of them have temporary residency status and will return to Ukraine when the war is over. Says Americans aren't getting enough sleep. What that can mean for your health. That story still ahead.
And coming up on my full forecast, we've been seeing some harsh contrast in temperatures, but is that going to stick around throughout the weekend? Find out more on my full forecast. But for now, here's a look at what's coming tonight on your public television station.
Next time on The War, a forgotten island called Peleliu.
The world was a nightmare of flashes, violent explosions, snapping bullets.
And a pointless battle comes at a terrible price.
We just went crazy. We were mad at everybody and were ready to kill anything that there was.
Part 5 of The War.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
TikTok is an app that's completely different than any other type of social media platform that we've ever seen before.
The algorithms are reinforcing social disparities.
I thought I had the freedom of speech. They just find a way to make it so nobody sees any of your content. This is blatant shadow banning.
This is bigger than TikTok. It's about who in our society gets heard.
TikTok Boom, Monday, October 24th at 10 on Independent Lens.
For some teams, it's win and you're in, and for others, conference titles are on the line. This Friday, the Wheelersburg Pirates travel to Portsmouth West to battle the Senators for the SOC2 crown. The New Lexington Panthers head to Sheridan to test the Generals in a heated NBL cross-conference rivalry. The St. Clairsville Red Devils and the Cambridge Bobcats will face off for the Buckeye 8 title game. So join us on Friday night at 11:30 p.m. on WOUB. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory. Hello everyone, I'm Curtis Fader. Now let's first take a look at what's going on today. 66 degrees, super nice day today. Hopefully you spent that day en route to a really nice evening outdoors, but right now temperature is still pretty low, so make sure to keep a jacket on your way out tonight. Now taking a look at your local temps right now, we can see that it didn't really used to be this way. It used to be really chilly going up into the morning, but then the nice warm air swoops in, which is very not October-like, but a lot of people will take it and they'll hope that it'll keep it up for Halloween next week. A little spooky though. But as you can see right now on our local radar, there's literally nothing. When you see just dots, cities, and interstates, that means there's a lot of great weather to go around. But in our regional radar, you can see if you zoom out, there's a lot more to be talking about, because right now we're nice and cozy here in the Midwest, but then you go down into the East Coast and you're actually seeing some snow showers popping up here and there, along with some lightning storms as well. So we should be very thankful that we're not the East Coast right now at the moment, because they are truly suffering October consequences. But right now, the overnight low is 40 degrees, but that's really chilly, but we're going to be taking our time getting there, because first the sun has to set right around now, but also we have a waning crescent moon. I love talking about the moon, folks, if you know me. But right now the waning moon means that it's going to be going all the way down to a new moon if it's on the left side. If it's on the right side, it's waxing, means going up to a full moon. So there's a fun fact that you can tell your kids at home. But right now, look at our weekend right now. This is gorgeous. I mean, look at that. 66 degrees Friday, 22, people wish you if it was the winter, but 72 on Saturday. We're putting mostly sunny in there because the cloud is for generosity in case somebody spots one in the sky. This is gorgeous temperatures for you guys to finally get outside and get what needs to be getting done. But right now, we're seeing, why is this happening? Because right now, if you can see this, from the east, you can see this warm front going right in. That's what we're experiencing. But then, coming in right over here from Rapid City and Minneapolis is that cold front. So it's not going to last too long, but it's going to take a few days to trickle in overall in terms of that. And we can see this when we take a look at our 7-day forecast. Now, Saturday and Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, gorgeous weekend for you guys to go out there and do whatever activity you please, 72 and 73 respectively. And we see those mostly sunny, and then we're going to transform to partly cloudy, not cloudy, but sunny on Monday and Tuesday, and the clouds keep getting bigger. And then Wednesday, we're going to see that 20% shower mark, and that's going to be very slight for the showers, so 20%, but still keep an umbrella on you if you want to keep it safe. And then as that cold front starts coming in, we're seeing the temperatures decrease over to 67 degrees on Thursday. Partly sunny again, no showers, but we're going to see those temperatures start to dip, and you're going to see those temperatures dip into Friday as well. So colder temperatures plus some chances for showers. So that is where things are going to cool off. But for now, throughout the entire week, at least for the next 4 days, we're going to be experiencing some great temperatures, unlike what we normally see in the fall. But for now, I'll toss it back over to Andre.
Thanks, Curtis. Not looking forward to that rain. New research finds sleep may be just as important to health as diet and exercise. But the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention says a third of U.S. adults report getting less Z's than recommended. Mandy Gaither has a look at new sleep data and why getting a good night's rest should be a priority.
If you want to be healthy, get enough sleep. That's according to a new large study.
There's a lot of things you can live without, but you can't live without sleep.
The research finds people 50 and older who slept 5 hours or less a night faced a 30% higher risk of developing multiple chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease over time compared to those who slept at least 7 hours a night. At age 60, it was a 32% increased risk, and at 70, a 40% greater risk.
You're more irritable when you're not sleeping enough or not getting good quality sleep. It affects your relationships. There's really not a component of your life or your body that can't be affected by your sleep.
It's recommended that adults 18 and older get 7 or more hours of sleep a night. Dr. Mari Horvat with Cleveland Clinic's Sleep Disorder Center says, listen to your body.
Really emphasize to my patients, it's not, hey, I function okay on 6 hours. It's, do you feel good on that amount of sleep that you're getting? Do you feel well rested, like you don't need more sleep?
The CDC suggests improving your sleep with some new habits, like going to bed and getting up at the same time every day. Keep your bedroom quiet, dark, and a comfortable temperature. And avoid large meals, caffeine, and alcohol before bed, all things that can disrupt sleep. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Heart Association has also added sleep duration to its cardiovascular health checklist, along with quitting smoking and getting active.
On Fridays, there's nothing better than Friday Night Lights in Gridiron Glory.
Yes, I can hear the band playing right now. Gridiron Glory host Jacob Mata is out at Sheridan High School tonight with a preview of all things high school football. How long till kickoff, Jacob?
Ooh, let's see if we got Jacob.
We're about 13 minutes away from kickoff here at Sheridan High. I'll give you guys the lowdown on the Gridiron Glory Game of the Week, as well as 10 other games in our coverage. I'll look at games across the 740 right after the break. Until then, Newswatch, you can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
TikTok is an app that's completely different than any other type of social media platform that we've ever seen before.
The algorithms are reinforcing social disparities.
I thought I had the freedom of speech. They just find a way to make it so nobody sees any of your content. This is blatant shadow banning.
This is bigger than TikTok. It's about who in our society gets heard.
TikTok Boom, Monday, October 24th at 10 on Independent Lens.
This is Canada, where dramatic landscapes are home to equally dramatic survival stories. For the creatures here, timing is everything. The difference between life and death. And the secret to success in this wild north.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
I love being a teacher, and so when I became a parent, we found lots of learning opportunities from watching PBS Kids. Our son Carson loves Curious George.
It's fun for him to watch, but also to learn.
He could learn about colors and shapes, or even math and science.
Oh, the blue and yellow! We grew up watching PBS Kids, and we know that when we watch that it's going to be safe and it's going to be fun. And we want Carson to have that same tradition.
And that's why we value PBS Kids.
On Secrets of the Dead, the collapse of the Roman Empire. Was it caused by a changing climate?
It gets colder and colder and less appealing in terms of crop growth.
Or a series of virulent pandemics?
The extensive pestilence was something never seen before.
The end of the Romans on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Week 10 of 740 football is here, and kickoff is about 5 minutes away, and it's an action-packed week. I'm here at our Gridiron Glory Game of the Week, where the New Lexington Panthers have traveled to take on the Sheridan Generals. And guys, let me tell you, there's some bad blood between these two teams. How deep does this rivalry go, you ask? Well, New Lexington's Wi-Fi password, beat Sheridan. And that's why they're coming out, and that's what they're coming out to do tonight behind Hunter Rose and company. The Panthers are beating their opponents by an average margin of 21 points this season. The stars of the offense, Rose and their quarterback, Lucas Ratliff. Rose has tore up the NBL all season, and he has 2,103 rushing yards on the season and 18 touchdowns as well. Oh yeah, and he's a top 12 candidate for Gridiron Glory Player of the Year. But you gotta think the Sheridan Generals defense has been game planning for him all week. The Generals have been winning their games by an average margin of 17 points, but Sheridan's defense does not give up 20-plus points in the last 7 weeks. If they can shut down Rose and limit Ratliff through the air, then they should be in great shape to knock off the Panthers. Both teams are super hot coming into this game, and our reporters, they've been calling it the Perry County Super Bowl. It's got a chance to be one of the best games we've seen all season. For more on that game, as well as 10 other games in our coverage, tune into Gridiron Glory at 11:30 p.m. on WOUB. The Megs Marauders traveled to Alexander to take on the Spartans in a TVC Ohio matchup. Megs won 3 straight after starting 1-3, and the Spartans look to end the season with a win after dropping 2 straight. Alexander quarterback Jordan Scholes will have to play at his best to bring home a victory. Southern travels to Eastern in this year's edition of Battle for the Border. This heated rivalry favors Eastern all-time with 40 wins, for the Tornadoes 20 wins. Knocking off the Eagles is something Southern attempts to do every year, and they look forward to it. The Jackson Ironmen head to Chillicothe to cement themselves as an FAC champ. If the Ironmen lose this game, they will share the FAC title with Washington Courthouse. If Chillicothe loses, they could have a rematch against Washington Courthouse in the first round of the playoffs, according to Fantastic50.net. Bloom Carroll is defending their home turf against the Hamilton Township Rangers. A win for the Bulldogs means they will win the MSL Buckeye title outright, going undefeated in conference. A loss and a Logan Elm win means the two teams will split the conference. The Watkins Memorial Warriors head to Granville. With a win, the Warriors will solidify themselves as the best team in the LCL Buckeye. Watkins has already clinched at least a share of the title, so the Blue Aces are aiming to play spoiler against an outright title. The St. Clairsville Red Devils need a win tonight at Cambridge to take the Buckeye title outright. They do have to stop the Bobcats quarterback Caden Moore, who's thrown for over 2,000 yards and 29 touchdowns on the year. This should be a good one. There's going to be so much to talk about, so don't change the channel. Gridiron Glory airs tonight at 11:30 p.m. and tomorrow on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. only on WOUB. For now, guys, I'll throw it back to you in studio.
Thanks, Jacob. We will be sure to watch. And if you are not watching tonight, but instead going out to cheer on your team, here's a look at your final weather with Curtis.
Well, definitely fun to cheer outside, but it's going to be a little chilly going later into the fourth quarter because 40 degrees at the overnight low, that is a bit nippy. But heading into this weekend, it's going to be a lot better because we're getting highs of 72 tomorrow and 73 on Sunday. A beautiful weekend for college and professional sports if you're going out or just having your own cookout outside. And taking a look at our full forecast, it's going to be to the mid-70s up until Tuesday, and then that's when we see those temperatures start to slide right on down. 70 degrees Wednesday, 67 Thursday, and 65 on Friday. But overall, a pretty nice week going up ahead.
Thanks, Curtis. Finally tonight, we could soon be getting some real answers about reported sightings of UFOs. NASA is going to be investigating UAPs, more commonly referred to as UFOs, for the next 9 months. The agency announced a team of 16 people to start an independent study on unidentified aerial phenomena. The team is made up of astronomers, astrophysicists, biologists, really smart people, former Pentagon officials, and a former NASA astronaut. They will analyze unclassified data on the UAPs gathered by government, civilian, and commercial entities, and they will look at ways NASA can improve its analysis of the data. NASA plans to release its findings to the public sometime late next year. I am personally really excited to hear because I'm curious. There's a whole new world out there. Like, what is out there?
I'm on the other side of that argument that ignorance is bliss. I'd rather not know.
Maybe
Let's end it there. That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Lexi Lepoff. This is Andre Norrells and Curtis Fader signing off for tonight. Stay tuned for PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.